live on YouTube through the Logos Capital channel. Anybody that has troubles logging in, you can go on YouTube and you can see our channel and our meeting today live on YouTube. We'll probably be doing more of these also on LinkedIn to go live, on Twitter to go live, so that we can go live on multiple channels at the same time to get the conversation out, get the word out on what we're doing. But anyhow, I'll take a pause and I'll say that with the idea of creating this sensor network, right? And this is how our ecosystems start to combine. Hey Sophie, good to see you. How our ecosystems start to combine, right, to leverage each other. The smart economy ecosystem will lay out a mesh network across the city, which then allows us to measure the air quality, the water quality, and things even like the water quality in the bay in real time, and make this dashboard available to all the residents and all the governments that we're working with. Now, to be able to fund some of these solutions in the bay, we're looking at doing a couple of different things. And first, that involves finding the solutions which our consortium is meant to do, finding the consortium of partners that can take our work to the next level by having a number of solutions that are possible to pre-integrate together from the coast to the water to the oceans, which I can get into. And now to be able to do this, we want to support a lot of these smaller solutions or earlier stage solutions, I should say, where we're incubating companies very early stage in partnership with the Seaworthy Collective to be able to have a leadership role in Miami and across Miami-Dade and across the world based in Miami for all of the water ecosystems and the ocean ecosystems, given our bridge between the two. But to do so requires that we have these vehicles to accept the capital, right? And doing so requires both the foundational capital, which I think is the best first step, by the way, Tony, as well as then the venture capital and the venture capital fund. Now, what's key here, and I'll be able to show this in a presentation, what's key here is that having a permanent capital base from the foundation, we can accept an anchor capital into our venture fund, which we then plan to leverage on a 2-to-1 basis, right? So we raise $11 million for our venture fund and make that a permanent capital for the venture fund. We're then able to then create a $33 million vehicle. But to receive that, we can either have investors give us straight cash, or we can have donors give us cash, which then serve as our contribution into that fund. To do so, we've done two things. We started with the foundation, and we've started now in a partnership for the Ocean Decade to be able to create an exhibition of art, which we can tokenize by turning into NFTs, virtualize by turning into 3D virtual reality. And this is what some of the art will look like. I don't know if you can see my screen. This is by the Ocean Agency, and different designers have contributed their art to be able to show and contribute this. We can print them out. We can turn them into NFTs. We can turn them into different ways. And so the idea here is that we can exhibit this art at, right, a place like our museum, the Philip Frost Museum, which is controversially to a lot of our members here in the Blue Economy Club as Aquarium. Maybe we could even do the same, Tony, in Atlanta, and have them exhibit this art with all the proceeds of this exhibition going to the Blue Economy Foundation, and the proceeds of the Blue Economy Foundation going to be able to contribute to solutions for saving the oceans and creating cleaner water. A lot of this art, this is like a jellyfish dancer, has been created with donations. So the donations from the supporters and the partners will go, all this art and all the pieces and people that will buy this art will go to the Blue Economy Foundation, which is going to be administered by Tony and Tony's group, together with our advisors to the Blue Economy Foundation, which we're accepting folks for. Of course, we're going to have the founding members form part of the advisory group for that, alongside Tony and Tony's group, selling this art to bring awareness and raise permanent capital in a way that's also fungible. So think about this piece as a virtual reality piece. We can sell limited edition prints. We can sell 1,000 of them. You go in person, you scan the QR code, you pay $10, $50, $100 to buy this piece, depending on which, if you get an unlimited version print or you buy a limited edition NFT, you can have pricing ranges, but most of those will actually count in your favor as a donation going to the foundation, and serving as a permanent capital that we could use to pay the lawyers and the fees that we need to set up the investment vehicle, whether for the Blue Economy Venture Capital Fund, or whether it goes to the next Blue Economy Fund to save the Biscayne Bay. Governor DeSantis has pledged about $20 million to save Miami Biscayne Bay. Our goal is that the local community in Miami can go to the museum, can buy the art piece, can get a tax write-off, and then that tax write-off then in turn can go to deposit the capital and be leverage the capital to give us the equity and or the debt that might be needed to invest alongside the county and the public government dollars to get these solutions off the ground and implemented across the entire spectrum. So that's the big idea. I'll take a pause there while we're showing this art piece, and we'll go ahead and start maybe with ladies first, and our special guest visitor, Sophie. Sophie, if you want to talk a little bit about who you are, what you do. Thank you so much for your contribution to our community in Miami, and how it is, and hopefully you're seeing what we're doing right now with this art, and you can help get the word out to people, that all the volunteers that are coming out to your community, to get involved by coming and not just seeing the exhibit, promoting the exhibit, maybe buying some art or volunteering for causes, to be able to also monetize on how they can take advantage of some of these pieces. So anyway, without further ado, we'll pass it on to you, and then we'll go ahead and pass the mic over to Tony. All right, you might want to unmute.
Sorry, I thought I was unmuted. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Sylvia, for the invitation and for the great presentation. I'm honored to be with this team here. It's really cool. And I checked out the website earlier. I'm like so amazed. This is so cool. I love all the creations. I love all the photos. I love even also the posters. I clicked through it all, and I'm really impressed. And I think even though that the crypto world is not the most eco-friendly and is contributing, sadly, also to climate change, I do also believe, however, on the other side, that digital art and virtual reality is not going to go away. It will increase even more. And this gives us the right tools to raise awareness about this problem. And I feel this is an amazing way. So that's my statement to what's going on here on the screen right now. And a little bit about myself. My name is Sophie. I am German, and I moved actually to Miami. I moved here 5 years ago, and to Miami Beach 3 years ago. And I started Clean Miami Beach 2.5 years ago, while I was walking on the beach along the dunes, and I noticed so much trash laying around, and I started to pick it up after being mad for like 3 days. And I continued to pick it up every day, and I saw the people also picking up trash, so I connected with them, and we decided to pick up trash together. So we've started on a Tuesday, and every week we were more people because we told our neighbors and we told our friends, and everybody wanted to join us, which was really cool. So the week after we were already 4 people, and the week after that we were 6 people. And so it kept growing week by week by week until a point where we were 140 people for one beach cleanup. And it was just absolutely amazing. That blew my mind, everybody's mind. And that's when I decided to become an official nonprofit. So I filed for the nonprofit status with the state of Florida. And I was set up pretty quickly, which was really cool. So, and now I'm also able to accept donations. It's a tax write-off. And we do depend on monetary support. And I did apply for the grant, which was available from the city of Miami Beach. So let's see, hopefully I can, I will receive the grant. But it's, yeah, like every cleanup costs us a lot of money. You all know what it means to run an organization, no matter if nonprofit or for-profit. Every organization comes with cost. And yeah, and so this is just incredibly incredibly awesome to see where I started and where I'm now, to see how important our work is and how much everybody is involved. The community involvement is just absolutely amazing. And I hope going forward that I can reach even more people, that I can host more cleanups and multiply myself, inspire more people to stop using plastic, because there's so many ways to help protect the earth beyond a beach cleanup. And yeah, so we're also doing educational work, talking about plastic, where it comes from, what it is, what it means, what it does to our planet, and what alternatives there are. And yeah, so we took a little break. Tomorrow we are back on the beach cleanup, our first cleanup after 3-month break. Everybody's very excited, including me. And yeah, so we're ready to get back out there. Lots of trash. Yeah, you're pulling up an Instagram photo. So let me explain what you see here. It's the wave of the masks. I'm sure every one of you is seeing those masks in the streets. And I took a challenge. I went every day with my dog in the same neighborhood. It was just 5 blocks around my house, and I live in Miami Beach in a nicer area. And I collected 1,020 masks, I believe, within 6 months. So all these masks were in one neighborhood, which is pretty scary. And they're still out there. It hasn't stopped. Now we're even finding them on the shoreline. So all the masks that are littered in the street, they wash through, when it rains, they wash through the storm drain and then make its way into the canal, into Biscayne Bay. And with every tide coming back in, we were finding those masks. It's pretty scary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a beautiful piece. I really like it. I think it's incredibly. I think it really does speak more than 1,000 words. We'd love for if you'd be open to contributing this piece, Sophie. We think we should turn this into a VR piece as well.
Yeah, I would love to, sure. Let's talk about this for sure. I'm open to contribute. I also did another one with the gloves. I think that one is cool too. I put gloves on the ground, imitating the earth, and I'm holding the earth. But it's a little older post. It was, I believe, in May. I don't know if you have access to the Instagram page right now.
We'll pull it
Oh,
up.
this one is actually, yeah, this is going to become an NFT for sure. This is a piece that I created with the help of students from the Dorel Academy. You see every single piece. If you go to the next photo, please. So can you swipe to the next photo, or is this a screenshot?
It's a screenshot.
Got it. Yeah, if you go on our Instagram, you can zoom in a little more. I have like close-up photos from the actual art, and you can see that all of these are small, tiny little pieces of plastic, like really, 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 really tiny. And I have been collecting those pieces for many months. I have washed them, dried them, sorted them by color, and then created this piece with, it took us over 80 hours actually to create that one. And I want to get this one done into 10,000 versions of the turtle. So I'm going to digitalize every single piece I used here. And I want to have every NFT look different, but it's always the same turtle. Like the turtle is wearing a hat, the turtle is having an ice cream or something, you know. Yeah, this is here, you can see all the pieces. This is actually really, really scary when you go along the shoreline, and it doesn't matter where, anywhere in Miami Beach. When you go along the shoreline, you see these pieces of plastic. Yeah, this is another fun project. Those are, I believe, over 500 plastic straws. Every time we clean up in Morningside Park, we find so many straws. It's unbelievable. Like 2 months before that photo, we picked up 1,500 straws in the same park. And then we come back and it's another like over 500. It's really crazy.
This is amazing work that you're doing. It's a shame that you have to do it. I have noticed the same thing on the beaches where I go, and have been also noticing that most people do put their trash in the garbage cans.
Yeah.
But after a weekend, the garbage cans are overflowing and the wind is blowing the trash around for the stuff they can't.
Right.
It would be very good. I have not been successful at lobbying our city to put more trash cans out because they say that they look ugly and they're only used 1 or 2 days a week. You know, because during the weekdays, you know, there's very little trash created and what goes into the can stays there.
Well,
It's
if
a perfect example, Greg, of how we could use the IoT mesh network for the smart cities. We can put sensors on the trash cans and have that sensor send an alert after the can is full to be cleaned up. So the people that have to go clean all the trash cans know exactly where to prioritize their logistics to clean up.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking at that for trash at large in cities and municipalities. It could definitely apply the same thing to beach trash cans. So it's a really key point.
Well, if I may say, the trash cans on the beach are actually very well maintained. I never saw a trash can on the regular beach here, which was overflowing. And there's many trash cans here. However, there is definitely a huge improvement on the islands. So I don't know if there is like what the better solution is to have the islands cleaned up more often, or if they say, okay, we're closed, the cities decide, or the municipalities decide to close them off for nature only or for recreational usage only, and close them off for motorized like boats and jet skis, because the islands are a really, really, really big issue. And we also need to differentiate between, there's 2 different types of trash. There is that what the beach visitor leaves behind, and then there is what already is in the ocean and what gets washed ashore with every wave. So the photo of the turtle, what you saw, all these small pieces of plastic once were a big item. They were a bottle, they were a bucket, they were a canister, and they have been in the ocean for quite some time, for years, you know. And what happens with plastic, it just breaks apart into smaller pieces. So that's what gives us these small pieces that wash ashore. But the trash you see here in this image, this is all the things that the people, the visitors, beach visitors, just leave behind. You know, sometimes you go to the beach, you can even tell where the towel was because the trash is like laid all around one spot. Yeah, and this photo, this whale, what we did here, we did that. That was the Bitcoin conference last year. It was this year, I believe. I don't remember. It was this year. It must have been in June or so. And we created this whale, and we will also turn this in we want to turn this in an NFT.
We got we have a few partners that have agreed to turn some of the artwork that we provided into virtual reality and into NFTs. So if you're interested in that, and I want to say hello to a couple of our new guests here. Thanks for joining us today. We would love to turn some of this, if you'd be so willing, into part of that NFT collection, because this is local. This is all made in Miami, and I think it'd be a perfect example of what we want to exhibit, on some of this. And then maybe what we could do is even auction off something like the more difficult pieces that you put together, that includes the, you know, this turtle, for example, this beautiful turtle. Yeah, the Christmas tree in the end with the plastic bottles. But I mean, this is just a really powerful piece. I'd love to see more of this, right?
Yeah. I
So,
actually created a plastic aquarium. I have a whole bunch of fish, and I was planning on displaying it for Art Basel. They're all on canvas and wood, and I would like to display them on the beach, sticking on wooden sticks, so that you can, if you are in a certain angle, that it shows that these plastic fish and the turtle, that everything is swimming in the ocean. And I like the idea of auctioning them, but I must admit my heart is really connected to all of these pieces.
Rightly so.
all right, Tony, could you talk a little bit about, is there anything else, Chris? Is anything else that you'd like to talk about? You know, how people can get more involved in volunteering for beach cleanups. I'd love to explore how we might be able to incentivize your volunteers through gamification, right? So you talk to her, you know, we have different partners working in different kinds of games and game businesses. I'm about to fly up, you know, over to Spain now, where we're going to have a massive collection of people from all around the world come to talk about air and fire and water and earth. And we can combine all these elements together to create a game that creates a universal approach, right? Envisioning the future in 2030 after we solve a lot of the sustainable development goals, and sort of how we can mesh all of these different games coming together into a really interesting way. But I think more importantly and more relevantly for us is how can we reward people that are spending their time, right? Like Natalie here, that is going out on the weekend and like going out and volunteering and picking up. And then how can we have to even compete? Hey, who picked up the most plastic? Who did the, you know, and who has the nice pieces, and how, right? More of this gamification on it, which we don't have to answer today, but it's definitely the direction we want to go in. And the kind of, and you're the kind of organization we love to partner with, so we can both help capitalize and bring more resources to you, and help you get the word out in a way that makes it very fun and engaging. Because if people want to go out, but if we can make it a little stickier, a little more involved, a little more rewarding, besides just the social feel good, which is enough for most of us, I would say, especially the ones that are in today's call. To take it a little bit beyond there, to get even the earlier stage, you know, earlier and younger crowd to come out. It would love to explore what that might look like for you. And then I think that, you know, once Tony explains some of the benefits of the foundations and how we could use this, you know, to mechanize the gamification and tokenization and donations, I think it'll make a lot more sense. But, you know, do you have any you know, please, shameless plug, how people can find you, how they can find out how to be involved, and how to contribute?
Yes, absolutely. So my most active medium is Instagram. I'm very active there. You can follow us on Instagram and go to the link in our bio, which leads to cleanmiamibeach.org. And that one has all the information about how to sign up for the cleanup. When is the next cleanup? It's really easy explained. It's a simple website. It's easy to follow. So on Instagram, it is Clean Miami Beach. So this is the page, and here you have in the link you have the website, which is connected right there.
Amazing. Big shout out to you, Sophie.
Thank you. It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Good work.
Thank you.
They're starting young. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good. Oh, it's amazing.
Definitely. This planet needs you to give a shit.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Tony, we're We care. Please tell us, what do we need to learn about the foundations? What's involved? What should people know? How can they be involved? What's the best way to contribute? I know that we're going to have some sort of simple QR codes and websites in the future, but can you help explain how this can fit into the different, economic systems that we have in mind? And I'll just pull up a quick, I don't know if you've seen this, but I'm going to show a quick slide that describes how we see some of this, Tony. And I know that you gave me some feedback in terms of how we might want to reposition the ecosystem of full spectrum capital, early stage, later stage, for the Blue Economy Foundation. And so I'm going to pull up a presentation for the Blue Economy Foundation that we can share with people here to give them an idea of exactly where the foundation sits, which is basically across the top, and how these things can be leveraged to fit. So this is a Blue Bonds Club. This is the latest presentation we've put together for the Blue Bonds Club. It's still we need to my eyes and our analysts that have been working on this for over a month. We're sort of blind to seeing these slides already, so we definitely need some fresh set of eyes on this. But so take a look at, these are some of the members in the for-profit and nonprofit space that we want to support, the problems with the water, in different ways that we're seeing. The philosophy and the mission is that that systems change require systems thinking and systematic solution. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. There's a lot of barriers to the blue economy to make it work, right? From renewable energy to tourism, climate change, fisheries, maritime, waste management, just like we were able to see during the conversation earlier today. And that the ocean economy has a lot of ripple effects to the rest of the sustainable development goals that are that go a big way. Our goal with this entire ecosystem is to be able to issue blue bonds. If you look at the name, right? It's the Blue Bond and Blue Economy Club that we have here, because they believe that this is really where we build the critical mass. The first blue bond was this one, partial guaranteed $50 million in the Seychelles. But ultimately, we want big, hairy, audacious goal, clean beaches, clean oceans, and even living underwater, and what that might look like. Our full spectrum approach looks like this, right? Where we basically, as an ecosystem, address each one of these things at the outset. Super early stage, depending on where the solutions are. The value of depth here, we're going to have the Blue DAF, which has now been called the Logos Blue Economy Foundation, right? Here's where we're able to receive concessionary capital that can be that catalytic risk capital when we're trying to figure things out. How are they going to work? How are they going to fit? What's super early stage, but worth supporting? Maybe a pitch competition and worth supporting until we get it to be able to get into the company building stage. That's where we partner with the Seaworthy Collective, the company builder here in South Florida, which has put a call to action and shares the same ethos, same approach to solving this, and has their first cohort, which is now live, cohort number 1. And then once these companies graduate from the cohort, then we want to have this blue fund, right? The Blue Economy Fund by Logos Capital. Right now, our goal is to raise $11 million for this fund, right? That can help us, that we do plan to leverage to be a $33 million venture fund. And then in the later stages, there are groups like Oceans 14, which is more later stage, Series B, C, D. And then, of course, you have the Blue Impact Bonds, which is where the whole critical mass builds and leads up to, are these impact bonds, right? Which help companies that are for profit, right? And into that stage, be able to, as a consortium, we come together. Stave is in Australia, talking to the Australian government. Dr. Fujise is in Japan, talking to the Japanese government. George, for example, is spending a lot of time in Cozumel, working with the Mexican government. Marion is in Tulum, working with the Tulum government. Tony is in Atlanta. He can work maybe with the Atlanta government, and these are government organizations. We're here in Miami, working with whether it's North Bay Village, City of Miami Beach, Miami-Dade County to clean the bay, right? When we have enough critical mass for all these solutions to come together, we can then issue a blue bond. If it's at a national level, we can refinance the national debt of these countries and give them cheaper financing for the bonds that they're already doing, so long as they promise to conserve a part of the ocean. It almost ends up being free money. If it's Germany, which has 0% interest rate, that's effectively free money to be able to get to that point, which is a massive paradigm shift of what's possible today. So that's how the full spectrum capital approach goes. And these are the mechanics that we put together to what this looks like to be able to have a permanent capital base fit into the equation. That's the right now what we call the Logos Natural Capital Foundation. It really is this idea of finance. We have social capital, we have political capital, there is intellectual capital, there is financial capital, right? There's cultural capital, but we need to really think of the natural capital, right? Which depends, and a lot of the financial capital in our economic system and GDP is based off of the natural capital economy, which is actually the largest economy in the world that's unaccounted for, right? And so the natural capital, and what we're trying to do, bringing all these sensors online, creating all the sentient cities, is being able to create sensors to bring the commons, the common areas and goods like air and trees and ocean and beaches, which are used by everybody, consumed by everybody, right? And we'll get into that, inspired by sacred economics, which is, there's a book by Walter Isaacson that touches on this. Here in this section would be what we're calling the Blue Economy Club, right? That, or I should say the Blue Foundation. And now when the capital goes here through philanthropic and high impact investors, and Tony, I'll pass this on to you right now. And we're able to see, right, how this umbrella of the impact market that we're going to be doing and others, the capital gets here, and then it can be used as a permanent capital base, whether it's for the funds, whether it's for the bonds, whether it's for a fund of funds, whether it's for other instruments that need to take place, can exist across the board to make that possible, and trickle down ultimately to support at the earlier stage of the venture capital ecosystem, can serve to support equity in each one of these different partners in our organization and the consortium, or when they're later stage and at this later stage of their life cycle, can help be the permanent capital that is the bond that's issued to finance the government or the end buyers that want to implement this. But the expert here is Tony. Tony, please feel free to maybe say a quick hello. And this is also based on your feedback. Thanks, Tony. I was able to help sort of recreate an image that goes across the board, that talks about how this really makes an impact and can be used in so many different ways. Maybe this is not the best, but this is the latest iteration. Please, thanks for being on the call today. Thanks for your support. It means the world to us, and it means the world. Maybe you can talk a little bit about yourself, your journey, what you do every day, and how the members of the Blue Economy Club can think about leveraging the Blue Economy Foundation as a collective and individually.
Perfect. Thank you, Silvio. And this is an amazing group that you put together. I'm so blessed to be here with all of you tonight. So I'll begin with helping everyone understand sort of a little bit of my background and how I arrived at this position, or this seat that I now take up. But I don't plan to take it up forever. My goal is to do good in the world and move on. Go back to 2006. I had built and sold 2 small companies, serial entrepreneur right out of college, but I had gotten bitten by the philanthropic bug and was called by my alma mater to go back to my alma mater to work in institutional advancement. So I did that for 5.5 years at the University of Notre Dame. And if you know the university well, there's 2 things that we do well. We have an amazing alumni network, and we raise a ton of money. And I don't say that tongue in cheek, because our process is really buried in a very good way, really cultivating and understanding the nuance of charitable giving and philanthropy at a very, very high level. Not just assuming that someone wants to impart cash in order to effectuate their own philanthropy, both for the university and or through the university for projects that we engage all over the globe. So from 2006 to 2011, I did that work, and at the university, I managed a territory of Atlanta up through Manhattan, about 300 plus families, all at the $1 million or higher giving level. And I mention that because it will tie directly into how we at the SDG Impact Fund are able to bring in a very intelligent way all sorts of assets. There is usually a spectrum of assets that a charity generally is comfortable bringing in to their fund. Generally, it's cash or check and stock. And even stock is difficult for some charities. Our charity, even today, we have orchestrated and administered, gosh, probably a spectrum of more than 50 different types of assets. And we'll work through some of those so that you get an understanding for what the opportunity is by partnering with the SDG Impact Fund. So rewind and fast forward, 2011, I decided to leave the institution and form the foundational entity that would later become the SDG Impact Fund. I had about 22 or 23 benefactors that were at Notre Dame that were asking me to leave the institution and create a vehicle through which I could help them, not just with their philanthropy with the university, but their philanthropy all over the world. So for instance, I had one benefactor who said, look, Tony, I give the university $1 million a year, but I give $10 million a year to the entire world. And I love this work. I love the work that you do. I love that your attention to guide me through this process. I need you to have a vehicle through which you can get this done. So a donor advised fund made the perfect sense because I could leverage my knowledge coming from the institution, but also plug into a vehicle that was decades old. Donor advised funds have been with us here in the United States since the 1930s. They were not proliferated until about the 1980s. And then again, in the 90s with the Wall Street DAFs. So in terms of education, there are 3 categories of donor advised funds. The first category is a community foundation. Many of you have heard of a community foundation. They are a donor advised fund just called by another name. They are generally zip code or metro bound in terms of their giving and their support. And then the second category are the Wall Street DAFs. So Fidelity, Vanguard, now those are some of the largest. And then our category, which is the independent category. So universities are in that category, SDG Impact Funds in that category, and there are a host of others. National Philanthropic Trust is also in that category. And all that means is we're not bound by a zip code, a metro area, nor any one bank or custodial institution. And that actually offers us the ability to involve ourselves in a myriad of opportunities, not just from a custodial perspective, but from a granting perspective as well. A couple of the things that I think are important in terms of this relationship is to understand the breadth of assets that can be donated into our fund, into the foundation now administered by our fund. So currently, and I'll just go through a couple of them. Of course, we administer cash, we administer checks, we administer online giving, and we set up, Silvio, I don't know if it might be helpful to look at our webpage and look at some of the platforms that we've set up for some of our funds.
Yeah, you feel free to do a screen share.
I'm actually on my cell phone, so
okay.
it won't allow me to do that.
I can do that.
But I can guide you through it. Go to sdgimpactfund.org and click on the impact or hover over the impact link at the top. And I don't really care which one you choose. You can choose a number of them. But so I'll get back to the different types of assets that can be donated in. In 2013, we were the first DAF to accept cryptocurrency as a charitable gift. Today, we administer about $20 million worth of cryptocurrency in, I think, more than 13 or 14 different tokens in categories. We have 3 custodial relationships with regard to where we house in custody our cryptocurrency assets. We have our own proprietary NFT platform that is unique to our fund. We have physical gold. We have gold that's sitting in the ground that we've taken as a gift. We have administered privately held stock, publicly traded stock, mutual funds, ETFs. We have administered the gift of artwork. We have a art program here in our fund that is about $32 million in terms of value. And we often work on special projects, and I'll share it here amongst friends. We're currently holding and marketing on behalf of the Vatican, the Michelangelo Collection, which is anchored by the Pietà. If you're familiar with the Pietà, one of our benefactors has been sanctioned to market for sale the Michelangelo replicas of the Michelangelo complete collection. But of course, it's anchored by the Pietà. So we have bronze and marble monuments and statues that make up that collection. So we market those to museums, to churches, to private individuals. The very first replica that was sold went to Carlos Slim, if you know that name, back in the 80s. And not until 2 years ago did the Vatican reopen the opportunity. And we're the sole marketer of that opportunity. In addition to doing work through the public foundation with the Pope and his private education foundation, Scholas Orientes. So we have a breadth of relationships. We have, there it is, the Pietà. Thank you. Breadth of relationships that lend themselves to the work that we'll be doing with this group. In terms of the capital flow, I think it's really, really important to share that we ought to be viewed here at as your back-end administrator as the coupler of capital and the administrator of all things related to paperwork. It's probably the best way to say it. Because you have us, you will never be confronted with paperwork. And I'm sorry, Sophie, but you have the arduous process of filing 990s and all that good stuff and listening to the IRS. These guys do not, because we handle all of that work on your behalf. So it's a wonderful platform, and I think it's going to work well. So the last thing I'll say about the capital flow is, if you think about a high net worth, ultra high net worth, or anyone sort of in the qualified investment community, I tend to believe that while they have 2 pockets, right? A left pocket and a right pocket, if the right pocket is their capital gains pocket, right? That's the pocket through which they make all their capital gains investments. And I don't care if it's physical gold or silver or publicly traded or social impact investments. They make an investment, they get a return, they pay taxes on that. I'm of the opinion that those same people have a left pocket, and out of their left pocket comes their tax deductible giving. But I will tell you that in my experience, through this fund and other opportunities, that when it comes to making a social impact investment or an investment through our fund, there is no difference between the left pocket and the right pocket. In fact, when there is a qualified individual who is making an investment in some form of a vehicle, and I don't care what they're investing in, right? I will convince you that if they're investing $10 million into whatever that thing is, they've got another $2 million in their left pocket that they don't even know exists. And that's where we come in and we help. Because it's the same person, but you're helping them understand that there are a myriad of ways for you to be participating in this opportunity. So we step in with our team and we help gather the data, visit with the benefactor. Again, these are the things that that we do as part of our relationship and our admin strategy. So I want to stop there because I know that I can become a technician of sorts sometimes, and I want to either be available for questions or turn it back over to Silvio for additional comment.
All right. No, I think that's super helpful, right? I mean, multiple asset classes, except being able to also manage crypto to be able to receive some of the investment and,
Yes.
and of course, handling a lot of the back end while also working with a lot of super legendary people. You're working with Akon and the
Yes.
Akon Smart City Project. You're working with the Pope and
We are.
some of the Michelangelo pieces. I mean, talking
Let
about.
me say this,
talking about-
Silvio. Let me say this. I think what you'll find, not only in me, but in our fund, is that we're not excited about telling confidential information to anybody. Unless you tell us, we want everyone to know who we are, right? So we're very guarded for good reason about the work that we do. We're not here to sort of go out and put out press releases. We're not here to sort of be braggadocious about the work that we're doing. We believe that if we do great work, the individuals and entities that need to pay attention, they will pay attention. So sometimes I'm really reserved about what we do and how we do it, but I would afford the same latitude to this group as well. But we follow the group. We follow the benefactors. What it is that you want to accomplish, we're here right by your side to get that done. My apologies, Silvio.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I think it goes a long way. Appreciate you coming from the horse's mouth, and also for a lot of our partners to just get acquainted with who you are and what you're doing. Thanks
Sure.
for the amazing work and obviously a lot of the benefits that come along with that. Explaining some of this and you know the fact that you mentioned different types of gifts. You mentioned something about the revocable gifts,
Yes.
or reversionary gifting.
Yes.
To be more exact. Could you talk a little bit about that?
I can. So because of my background in working at Notre Dame, I bring to our DAF platform a whole host of what the industry calls plan giving products. So some of those more commonly are charitable remainder trust. And in that category, there's a charitable remainder unit trust and a charitable remainder annuity trust. There's also the ICLAT/reversionary gift and life insurance and a host of others. But in terms of the reversionary gift, it really works quite simply. The donor makes the gift of an asset. And let's say the asset, we're not going to talk about cash. Let's say the asset is a farm. And let's just say the farm has cattle on the farm. The donor can gift the farm to the DAF for a particular amount of time. That time cannot be less than 1 year and a day, and it cannot exceed 20 years. So the gift can reside with the DAF for that period of time. While the asset is in the DAF's hands, the revenue generated from the assets would go unrestricted back to the DAF, and the dollar value associated with that asset every year goes back to the donor in the form of a tax deduction. So I'll describe this in terms of numbers. Let's just say the farm is worth $10 million. And that farm, based on the cattle and maybe the milk or what have you, produces a $500,000 in value to the DAF a year. That $500,000 tax deduction goes to the benefactor. The $500,000 in cash goes to the donor advised fund, unrestricted. After 10 years, that donor would have received $5 million in tax deduction that can be carried forward every year for 5 years. There's a 5-year carry forward for gifts given in any one calendar year. At the end of the 10 years, the benefactor gets that gift back. It is a thing of beauty for the right benefactor and the right asset.
Yeah, awesome. So there you go. A couple of different tools and ways to take advantage of it. I mean, I guess that covers it, right? I mean, I think those are some of the more exciting updates that we have for people to talk about today. Tony, getting you introduced, and also some of our partners here in Miami. Sophie can be super key for this, especially just to get the word out on the art. People to know, hey, the art that you're buying could also count as a donation, and that's going to help serve as a permanent capital stack, and hopefully advise a couple of different things. So we're maximizing the incentives available for everybody to be involved, and really appreciate your work and support, Tony, to get us to that next stage of what's needed here in the ecosystem.
Sure thing.
To get this done. So it means a lot to us. We also have a couple of new people I haven't seen before. Maybe Ro or Prasad, if you guys want to say a quick hello and say how you found out about what we're doing today. Anyone else have any parting thoughts, questions? If not, we'll probably get ready to wrap up today's meeting and circle back in a couple of weeks.
Sure,
Ro,
I'll
Prasad?
introduce myself. It's Ro Michaels. I was a Wall Streeter, and about 4 years ago, I kept on coming up with all these numbers that said the world is running out of water in an accelerated way and investing in it. Most of the way we think of water right now is really infrastructure related, and it's not going to address the pollution and the scarcity issues that we have going forward. So I'm investing in venture capital, early stage level technologies that do anything from pull water out of the air to evaporate dirty water using natural processes and then recapture it. We've made 5 investments, but still trying to grow the fund. The other part of it that, I kind of did top-down analysis and said we're running out of water, but I have a school in Kenya that I built about 20 years ago with some friends of mine from Wall Street, and we thought it was going to be all about education, but every year it's about water. It's a handicapped school. We get a disproportionate number of handicapped kids because, like many emerging markets, they're drinking water that is laced with metals and other toxins, and this is happening in the U.S. It's happening everywhere. It's under the radar in the developed markets. It's not well understood in the emerging markets, but it's very real, and so is the water scarcity issue. So I saw your invitation on, I believe it was LinkedIn, and appreciate you letting me join you because I'm very passionate about the blue economy, and I like Silvio's view of kind of a chain of being able to finance these new innovations, because the existing forms of finance, 99% of the world's water systems are from municipalities, and they have no appetite for new technology. They have zero understanding of it. They are really stuck in an old world where you pump all the water, the rivers and lakes and aquifers that you can, and they're already there, but to do anything differently is beyond them. So that's what we're working on. Thanks for letting me join.
Yeah, thank you for joining. Definitely super interested in that. We know it's super hard. One of the things that's been difficult to find out is, the right balance between the SDG work for the ocean, right, and the clean waters, right? So we have SDG 14 as a big part of what we're thinking about as a coastal community here in Miami, is this goal of, okay, what is SDG 14? What does it mean to be involved in SDG 14? But the other animal and investment thesis is also SDG 6, goal 6, clean water and sanitation, which you've spent so much time in, and I know is very difficult from a venture component. Would love to connect with you to compare some notes. Really excited that you're here, and really would appreciate any guidance and support you might be able to lend from your wisdom in Fund 1 to where you're going to be coming on, as well as some of the goals that we have with SDG 14 with the coastal communities. So glad that you can join us. We're meeting on a bi-weekly basis around the same time, to keep a cadence and having different people come in and talk about what they're doing and hopefully be able to inspire others to get involved. So yeah, super exciting. Thanks for joining and look forward to having you join more. Opening this up to YouTube. We have a LinkedIn group as well, where we can share more posts and other people that care about the same thing called SCG 14 Club, Blue Economy Club. If you're interested, I'll add you to that, and we can compare some notes on some of the other water investments that we're looking at today. Prasad?
Hey, Silvio, thank you for the opportunity. George pulled me, and I'm working with him through MISO-AM SDG 17. I'm an organic chemist by training, and I worked in pharma, biotech, and IT, and I put my head around emerging technologies, so on and so forth. It also happened that I am also a mentor at incubation centers, startup incubators and accelerators in US, and also recruited in one of the institutions in India to talk about promoting sustainability. I'm a sustainability promoter all my life long. And I'm also a social entrepreneur of a different kind. So I founded an organization called Suraksha, which is a Sanskrit word, by the way. Suraksha means the ultimate care, if we translate that Sanskrit word into English. So with that, I have gathered support of individuals like George Cummins and 10 other excellent people who are greater knowledge and in-depth of experiences than me, and we're all working together towards creating a sustainable world. We're doing it in a three-pronged ways. One is basic education. Second one is taking them up to the ISO level kind of thinking under international frameworks. The second one is technology commercialization support. Because I worked in multiple industries, I see things like a chemist. If I say in my several meetings, if chemist can't fix certain things, nobody else could. So it's chemistry is part of everything, including the water we drink. So I'm bringing the same discipline across the platform so that we can do extraordinary work to fix the problem, even fixing the pollution flowing into the ocean first. I think about that because I came up with a philosophy, which is an old one, everybody knows about it, but we lost in transition, and that is prevention is better than cure. So I'm following the same old words, I would say wise words. And we're helping entrepreneurs to get there. And also I'm sharing my knowledge, being worked in pharma industry and dealt with several hundred, if not thousands of chemicals. So I even work with nasty chemicals. So I know everything about those things. So I'm following the prevention is better than cure approach for that same reason. On top, I am also involved in some other companies where we are trying to fix the ocean pollution. For example, oil spills in the ocean, coral reef regeneration, and also mangrove regeneration. I'm also an island innovation ambassador, and I'm also an ambassador for My Green Labs in US. So this is my background. I'm here to help anybody who would like to help, who would like to grow up in sustainability model, either in education-wise or industry-wise or entrepreneurship-wise. That's what I'm doing now. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Well, it is all chemistry beyond H2O. So definitely key points there. Another thing that some of our partners want you to know is that we have a lot of information, a lot of progress coming along with the Seaworthy Collective. For those of you that know the Seaworthy Collective, that's some of our goal and what we're doing with the company building partnership. So they've received their first cohort. They're going to be having a few meetings coming online. September 1st, they're going to be talking about, they're having a panel on carbon dioxide removal. They're going to be featuring ocean-based solutions, sea green regeneration, and key farms as a part of that. Then we're going to talk about regenerative agriculture as a second component. In regenerative agriculture, we're going to be featuring Panacea and Teleaqua, both companies that are Panacea, by the way, started out in Nicaragua. They're in Panama right now, and Teleaqua is out of the UK, led by Priya. Shout out to Priya, which leads the Government Blockchain Association over in the UK. Coastal Resilience, 6:30, September 15th, with the next cohort, and of course, pollution detection, removing alternatives. So come out and celebrate. My birthday is September 21st, International Peace Day. Don't know exactly where I'll be just yet, whether it's Europe, Africa, or the US, or LATAM, but I'll let you know. You'll definitely know. September 23rd, then we'll have a hybrid event for the 1-year anniversary party. So come out. That's some of the updates from the Seaworthy Collective and Daniel Kleinman. Daniel, big shout out to you, and a big appreciation to all the work that the Seaworthy Collective has been able to do and get done. Part of what we're going to do is to be able to continue to build, work with the Seaworthy Collective, whether it's on the donation side or the investment side through the fund, to get these things to the next level. So that's it. Any parting words, comments, questions from our esteemed audience and advisors?
Hey, I'm going to chime in quickly.
Please. Hey,
So
George.
this is George. Yeah, and I'm having some kind of internet issues, so I don't want to come on camera. But it's great to meet Sophie and Tony and Ro. Yeah, there's so much the DNA, Silvio, the DNA of this group just keeps getting better and better. And this is SDG 17 in action. So I love watching this. So as the ocean chemist guy, in support of Ro's comment, it will be impossible to achieve the sustainable goal 14 without water quality. So that's one statement. The second thing is, for everybody, as the chemist, water is one thing. It just comes in different forms. We have one big giant pool of water. Sometimes it's in a gas form. Sometimes it's in a solid form. It might be in moisture, but it doesn't matter if we put poison in the air or directly in the water. It's all just keeps concentrating more and more and more. That's what's happened. So our one drop of water, we've polluted over the last couple hundred years, and it's going to take us a long time to clean up our one drop of water. So treat it like it's the only drop we've got, because it's all connected to everything we do. So that's my two statements. Welcome aboard, everyone. Look forward to getting to know everybody. Yeah, there's too many things to cover. Great job again, Sylvia. I wished Heidi would have made it. I want her to get in here and get to know the group, but rock and roll, everyone.
Let me reiterate exactly what George said. It's a pleasure meeting everybody. Hopefully we'll see you all at future events and meetings. Sophie, I think what you're doing is wonderful. Tony, I learned a lot from you tonight. Ro, good luck. And Prasad, very, very interesting. Hopefully we can take advantage of the things that you're doing. I agree with you, George, because like this weekend, I am going out and surveying coral reefs and looking at some of the diseases from some of the pollution that's affecting us worldwide. And, so it's all interconnected. And if we all do our little bit in our own area of passion, then it'll all add up to something good.
True that. That makes, I have to. Prasad, you guys, it's so important. One of the things I've recognized in this 4-year stint in this UN SDG 14 role is that there's not a good connection of most people to all of the SDGs.
Yeah.
All of the pieces of this giant complex puzzle fit together. And I think it's really important. So getting companies or organizations to begin to adopt some just introduction 101 to all the 17 SDGs and how they sort of plug together. And then for a person to figure out how their product, service, company, lifestyle fits in where. That's what Prasad's group can bring to the table is a platform for people to get access to that kind of stuff. So it's great. So I want to inject what Prasad and I are an action we've just started to do. We're getting with early career ocean professionals. We're going to challenge every laboratory. If you looked at the plastic problem, roughly 10% of the waste of our planet is related to the hospital laboratory world, whether it's people making silicone chips or doing blood tests. That's where my background and Prasad's, we're both chemists from the laboratory world. So that's become our personal mission, something we know about, to go and challenge over this decade with these early career professionals that are going to be scientists. How do we make these companies be zero waste laboratories by 2030? That's our mission.
No small mission, no small feat.
But you know, I get, as I've said to Prasad, this thing has such legs because when you challenge, first off, there isn't a laboratory that's not going to want to head toward, they're not going to want the PR of not trying to do their piece. So they're trapped between the reality of what has to happen and making it happen. And that's all we're there. We just want to support them. It's to support them and help them. What can we do as citizens or scientists, early career professionals? What can we all do together by 2030 to achieve a zero waste Central Texas, which will be thousands of laboratory stuff in this area? So anyway, I'm just saying, I think everybody's got to step their game up. So I was glad to hear what Greg just said he was doing. I wished I was in Cozumel because I would be jumping in the water and cleaning corals, planting a mangrove. I'd be doing something. That's what I should be doing, but we're all no field work. But anyway.
Luckily, I'm not in Cozumel. I'm just here in Florida. So
yeah, I know. Well, anyway, I don't want to take up any more time. It's great to meet everybody and look forward to it. Next one.
thank you.
Thank you so much, George.
Yep.
Great to meet you, everyone. Thank you so
Likewise.
much. Thank you.
Yeah,
I
we
learned a lot
need that
today.
technical support. We didn't really have a chemist in the group, Prasad, and one of the things that really makes our group unique is that we have this multidisciplinary group of partners, engineers of all sites, of all types, politicians, investors, donors, entrepreneurs, ecopreneurs, academians, etc., engineers and scientists. So it's really important that we bring all our knowledge base to the table, because it does require us thinking about these systematic issues altogether, and hopefully we can use that brain trust for ourselves and for ourselves as a collective and individually, whenever the case may be. So thank you all so much for attending tonight. I hope you've been able to enjoy what you're doing, see some beautiful art, and nothing. We're really excited to have the foundation. Tony, thank you for making that possible for us. We hope to be able to get the word out. If you're interested, we have the WhatsApp group, we have the LinkedIn group. We're going to want to make sure to create a virtual gallery, put these pieces up. Greg and George have done a great job introducing me to other people that can help us find investment and tokenization and NFT partners for VR and AR and everything that we need to get this done, as well as Commissioner Ken Russell. So big shout out to Ken Russell to help us connect with some of the local museums. So, the same thing would be really encourage every one of you in your local communities to find out if you can find how to get involved with your local gallery and local museums, to see if we can also create an exhibit virtually on the world where everybody can collect, and decentralize in a way that we can have physical pieces in your local communities that can help this collective cause go towards really this one ocean, one water, one goal, one planet. So we're one step closer to that, thanks to this meeting today, and thanks to each and every one of you. So thank you so much. Follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn, Logos Capital Group. Join the SDG 14, SDG 6 club for the Blue Bond Club. Stay tuned for the next in a couple of weeks. And nothing, hang tight, stay tuned, and thank you so much for your work.
Take care.
Bye.
All right, guys.
Thank you.